Hi everyone, welcome back to my Patreon. Happy 2022. I hope all the content that I've posted is helpful. Let me know how you're feeling, let me know how you're doing. I am going to go through the one question today, and then I'm going to share some other things I've been thinking about. So, the question today is from Lucy, and Lucy says, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Maybe I'll ask you. No, I think I'm going to do a video on this because you're in this tier. But my current plan for my business is I'm going to take a complete break from social media stuff to work on my relaunch. I'm reevaluating some of my products, and I'm going to discontinue a few products, then update others I've already got. I've got 10 new prints, so I'm going to do 5 each per weird cushion, and then a square cushion per print. They make cushions, you have to go look at them. I'll leave the links to their socials below. And if you're in the group, which everyone watching this, you should be in the group. If you haven't, just send me a message with your Instagram. So I'm sure that you're kind of familiar with Lucy already. So I've got 10 new prints, which is very exciting. So I'm going to do 5 per weird cushion and then a square cushion per print. Sounds really cool. So my aim is to have mainly my cushions, rugs and artwork prints. Then once I've done that, I'm creating a portfolio to approach companies, which is great, but I'll speak to you closer to the time about that. Very excited, looking forward to that too. I feel like this is the right thing for me as I get overwhelmed quite easily and I can't quite focus on social media when I've got these goals, which are more important before I can take the next steps. I don't want to repeat myself on social media, but I'm hoping to relaunch in Feb. Do you also think I should do a post about taking time away from my relaunch? So much to unpack there, and I love all of the questions. I think it's so like important to have a ramble and let things out, and I'm more than happy for you to do that with me, because even just like going and writing questions down can be like just as helpful. So I'll start from the top. I mean, immediately when I read this, I was like conflicted because I was like, yes, social media breaks, I take them all the time. I don't ever really plan them. I just kind of like feel really burnt out and realize I don't have to post because I don't have the ads coming up. So they kind of happen quite sporadically. Hoping myself that won't happen this year because I'm going to plan ahead. But I've got my cup of Horlicks here because it's the evening. So cool, so cozy. So yeah, I was conflicted because I feel like great to have social media breaks, but then again, it's really it's a hard thing to get used to managing many things at the same time. But it's kind of important to get used to doing many things all at once, like working on stuff and posting stuff on social media. I remember when I was at uni and we had the way that our uni was structured, like most universities was, especially if we're doing creative courses, we had loads of deadlines on at the same time. So we had about 3 or 4 projects going on at the same time, all with various deadlines, all with different things, different classes, like all on top of each other. And a lot of the students' feedback to the tutors was, this feels counterintuitive to like focusing, and this feels like I'm not able to be the most creative because I can't just focus on the one thing at the time. And this feels overwhelming because I've got so many things on in my mind, and different projects and different processes, and sometimes they impact each other. And my opinion of that is right from the start, from having multiple jobs and interning, trying to manage loads of things at the same time is that doesn't change when you become like just do one thing and you're just an artist doing, like me, just now I'm doing illustration as my full-time job, and running a business means you've got to get used to, unfortunately, having a lot of things on at the same time. And I think so often with what I hear about, I'm so sorry if my room is so pink. I put a pink light on to make it cute, but now I feel like it's too much. Anyway, I've got blue in the background. Maybe we can change it. I'm not going to edit this. Maybe that's better. What do you think? Maybe that's too much. Warm? That might be better. Right? And there's a pink light down here. Okay, anyway. Yes, I'm conflicted because it's really important to take breaks, and I love taking breaks, and I think taking breaks is really important, especially to like reevaluate what you want. But I would also say make sure you don't take a break for too long. And you don't have to take my advice. Like, my advice is not set in stone. I haven't posted on TikTok for like the longest time. When's it been? But I think it might be 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks? I don't know. I don't know where my phone is. Oh. So, if I say don't take a break for too long, also know that I don't take my own advice as well. Is that the first? No, the first time I didn't post wasn't. The last time I didn't post, it couldn't have been the first. That's not true. I disagree with it. Oh. It says in TikTok on the date, it says 1 to 5, and then it says 1 to 6. What does that mean? Anyway, I think two things can be right at the same time. Like, it's really important to take breaks. It's really important to schedule breaks. It's really important to take time off. It's really important for us to push forward for a society that is embracing taking time off and taking breaks. This is true. At the same time, it can be true that it's really important to be a successful business owner, to get comfortable with spinning many plates on at the same time, and finding a balance within doing that. Even when I have slow times, I always have loads of things going on, and I think that's I don't know. I think it's really important to be honest and not sugarcoat things for you. And that's why my tutors told me when I was working class, and I was one of the only people in my class that had to get up halfway through my lectures and go to my job to get money so I could eat. And I felt, God, like all these other people are going to be so much more, they're just going to be ahead of me because they have the time to. And my tutors actually saw that I was struggling with that and pissed off about it. And they said, what? Because I went and asked them, I said, is there really a difference with people that have part-time jobs and their grades and like the success and how far they go? And they said it's actually got nothing to do with, and like someone having to, like the ones, let me rewind. All my tutors came back with me and said, all the students that they've experienced in their years of teaching that have had to have part-time jobs often not only perform better within their grades and their work and their deadlines, but they tend to go, they tend to also go far when they come out. And it's because they're comfortable in managing lots of things at the same time, multiple things at the same time. And they said they're better with time management, they're better at deadlines, they're better at focus because they know, they got this specific amount of small window to actually get it done. Whereas if you have all day to do it, it will still take you to the end of the day. Whereas if I've got 10 minutes to do it, it's going to take me 10 minutes. I think I talked about that in one of my other podcasts. I'll leave a link below. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know what the right or wrong answer is, and only you can know that. And I think these two things can be true at the same time. Like, I think it's a balance of the both. It's a balance of knowing when you need to break, and it's another balance of like, am I not choosing to post on social media because I want it to be perfect? And I think when you're going through reevaluating what you want to do and with your business, and reevaluating how you want to use social media, I have my way is learning on the job, and like showing people that I'm figuring things out, and showing people that I haven't got everything all together. And I love when other people do that too, because it's real. And I think we can get so lost in trying to make our social media look so perfect and look a certain way. And the reality is, it's like, the stuff that people will really connect with is if you're just showing up as your truest self. And so don't be afraid. I would suggest, don't be afraid to post about how you're feeling, about changes you're making, about your uncertainty, and show things that aren't perfect. You don't have to show up on Instagram as a perfect person or a perfect business. I think you can show like your roughs and your drafts and things that don't work and things like that. I think I feel like the way that people describe my social media, they always highlight things like, oh, I shouldn't have shared that. Like, I did a story when I was having a panic attack once, and in a networking event. And then at another networking event, someone introduced me as like, oh, she's Natalie, an illustrator. And she also like shares really vulnerable things in her story. She even like did a story when she was having a panic attack. And so it's things like that that's like, wow, I would have never have thought that was like integral to my social media strategy. But they are one and the same. And I think, why not just to share things as they come up, and share you working on things as you go. And you don't have to come back with like this brand new relaunch with everything's perfect and everything's exactly how you want it to be. You can show the people the process of how you get there. And especially like, as someone who I've recently, like every year I kind of do a refresh on my Patreon logos, and I put so much pressure on myself. I'm like, I'm going to make the best logos ever. And the first time that I actually really, really, really liked the logos, I didn't have any pressure on myself at all. And I kind of just fancied playing and having fun. And so for me, I know I work best when I take the pressure off. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just think I see a lot of people that are like, when I do this, I'm going to do a brand new relaunch and it's going to be perfect, and I'm going to come back and relaunch. And the reality is, as well, is through my reading of lots of marketing books, you have to, on average, you have to talk about something at least 7 times, which means you have to make at least 7 social media posts on something before you even think about buying something. So someone has to talk about their one product 7 times for someone to even consider buying it. So coming back, for this is what I tell my friends, if you're going to come back and do a huge relaunch, you can't just post about it once and be like, I've done my marketing for this product. It is something you have to be consistently talking about all the time for actually an extended period of time. And probably one of the best marketing strategies I've had with a product has been my just the calendar that just went, when I did a TikTok on creating every, I feel like I'm gonna burp or yawn or something. I did a TikTok on every month, and the first time I posted the first one, I did not get a million and gazillion orders, but they happened slowly. And every single time I talked about the calendar, I got another one order and another one order, and then eventually ended up selling out. Humble brag. But I think I have like 3 left, but I think I have to give them to France because my friends are dying for them. I should probably take them off the shop. But yeah, I sold my goal and I went past my goal, but it didn't just happen like I talked about it one time and I made like 1 million sales. Like, it didn't happen like that. It happened every time I talked about it, I would get a couple. So that is my worry, and these are things that you have to consider. If you are going to come back with a relaunch, you can't just like post about it once and then be like, I've done the relaunch. It has to be something that you have to talk about over and over and over again. And I've still got products that I need to talk about and I forget to talk about, and every time I talk about them, I'll get a sale. So that's my concerns with what you were saying. But again, like, you don't have to take my word as gold. You can do whatever the hell you want. And I also break my own rules as well. But I also, within that, I think it's really important to do breaks. And I just had a complete brain fart. But anyway, I love the idea that you're creating a portfolio to approach companies. I think that that's really smart as well. And yeah, I don't know, it sounds really good. It sounds like you're excited about it. It sounds like you're on the right track. I know you said you get quite overwhelmed quite easily, so you can't quite focus on social media when you've got the goals, which are more important, before I can take the next steps. Yeah, I don't know. My thought is, I guess because my process is illustration and I can make things quickly. And so I don't have experience in like making something traditionally and then that being your business and having to post about it. But what I will say is maybe try and figure out how you can make an Instagram post or a social media post that is something that you can do quickly and or like faster than making a cushion, or I don't know, maybe you can brainstorm on things like that. And then also, I don't know if you've listened to past episodes, but I have talked about different types of content. So evergreen content is a type of content that you can repost any time of the year, or even 10 years time, and it will still be relevant. So Sarah Dietschy talks about this as well, and how when she plans her content, not only does she review a lot of tech, which is kind of videos that no one's going to want to watch a review of the new iPhone that comes out now. Like, no one's going to want to watch that in 10 years because it's relevant right now and relatable right now, but it's not content that is evergreen. It's not going to be something that people can come back to in 10 years time. And it's really important to, when you're making your social media strategy, to think about evergreen content, because it can be stuff that you can repost to save time. So if you go through my TikToks, I started to post only animations. And if you scroll through my Instagram, you'll see that the TikToks that I've reposted towards the end of December, I was posting like 3 times a day, and I took it all from old animations that I had already reposted, but I just cut them up, chopped them up, and reposted them. And I was able to make like 30 animations by doing that method. So oh my god, it was amazing when I figured out. I was like, this took me no time at all, and I really wanted to post when I was on holiday. So think about things like that. If you feel really overwhelmed by things, I completely relate, because that's also me. But make things easy for yourself. Like, ask yourself, how can I do all of the things I want to do, like social media? How can I do them in a way that is the easiest and simplest way of doing it? And, you know, that is a huge reason as to, like, that's my illustration style, because I just asked myself that question, and I was doing multiple things, and I wanted to draw every day, and I decided on the colors before I came home, and I just said, I'm just going to use yellow, I'm just going to use pink, I'm just going to use pink and red. And I just did that, and I illustrated things really quickly, where I was like, gosh, it looks so rushed and so terrible, but I'm going to post it because I want to get better, and I want to post, and I feel like what I'm saying is more important than it being perfect. And now that's my style, like that's my illustration style. Like I just kind of stumbled upon it through urgency and through having very limited time of a window to actually make things happen. So ask yourself that. If you want to post regularly on social media, which I think would be an amazing way to promote your business, if you want to create your portfolio to approach companies, if you want to create new products, like all of the things you want to do, write down how you want to do it. And then I think next to it on a table, write down, how can I do this in the most simplest, easiest way possible? Another exercise you could ask yourself is, how can I do this if I have to get it done in a day? And sometimes, you know, I have sat down and created social media posts all in one day, and I'm like, I need to get as many done today because this is the only day that I can do it. And I've gotten stuff ready for like a month. Well, no, it wasn't a month. I had 30 TikToks, and I posted I was like, great, I've done my month in advance, and I got so excited. I posted multiple I posted like 2 or 3 in one days, and I just, like, in a few weeks I ran out of my videos, so I'm not doing that again. I just got too excited. I was like, I have to share these right now. But yeah, I think that is my secret. That's my secret. I'm sharing it with you. Ask yourself, how can I do this in the most simplest, easiest way physically possible? And I think you'll be surprised of how much you can accomplish when you really strip back all of the BS that you don't really need. But again, I like to also remind you that you know yourself well, and you know your art well, better than I do, and you know what you want to be and who you want to become, and what kind of a business you want to be better than me. Really excited for your launch in February, and I do think you should talk about the launch as soon as you can, because February goes very, very, very quickly. I think I read something that, I wish I had like a library in my head where I could remember where I read it from, but I remember maybe even just like I found a video that was about marketing a product, or was it a podcast? But it said the minimum amount of time you need to promote one product or a relaunch is 2 weeks. Like, that's the shortest amount of time that you should give yourself. So, you know, if you look at any business that does well, I think one that I've spoken about before is Tala, even though I am conflicted on how sustainable it is. I've never bought from there, but I do think they've definitely hired the right people to do their marketing strategy, because I definitely do want to buy from there because they're so good at marketing. So if you go to their Instagram, or any other brand's Instagram, have a look on when they announce a product is coming and when it's actually being released, because sometimes it can be like months in advance. I remember when Tala first came out, and I think they had leggings coming, and they were in this green colour, and I was like, oh my god, I love that green, it's like a teal. And yeah, they were coming out in like months. I was like, damn. And I just kept checking every month, like, are they gonna come? So yeah, I think have a really good relaunch. Start talking about it as soon as you physically can. I would say just start talking about it today. Announce the relaunch. February is very, very soon. Like we think, it doesn't come soon, but time flies. So yeah, and talk about it as much as you can, and like figure out how to like break down the ways of talking about it in different parts, like my calendar, instead of saying like, oh, my whole calendar's coming and here are all the months and I've done them all and I've illustrated them all and here it is, a finished piece, pre-order now. I like broke it down month by month by month by month, and I could have done more videos on that because I kept changing my mind on like reordering it all, the structure and how I made it. Like there's so many ways that you can talk about your product and highlight it, and talk through all the behind the scenes and the research and your inspirations, anything that is the process as well, because people love watching process of something. So yeah, but I know that some people feel really weird about that, because like uncomfortable, because they want to show people the final piece. But don't be afraid on the different ways that people can connect with you. And I think taking people through the process is a really amazing way. So yes, I think that's all I have to say for that. It's difficult because it's like, I want to give you the autonomy to know what you need, but give my advice on like the things that you're also like asking me. But I think I have conflicted opinions as well, because I think there's seasons where I'm like posting so much on social media, especially like just before Christmas. I was posting so many times. I was posting like 3 times a day on TikTok for like weeks, and it was like working for me. And then I stopped doing it, and I was like, oh my god, I can't imagine doing it now. But I am going to get back into it. It's all about planning in advance, being really quick and easy with things, being kind to myself when I don't do it, but having quite a clear-cut strategy and plan. I've got the low battery flashing now, so I'm just going to take some Horlicks and see if I can finish my video. Another thing is a brand a few weeks ago, I think it literally was the 2nd day of January, reposted one of my reels where I unboxed something that they gave me, and they didn't ask my permission. And so I was like, dude, like, you didn't ask for my permission. And I've worked with them before, and they've paid me before, so I kind of was like, oh god, I don't want to, like, I was annoyed, and like they could have paid me to repost it, and they didn't even reach out to me to ask my permission, and I didn't want to disrupt the relationship that I have with them. But I was like, no, I'm sure, like, they're gonna get it. They're gonna understand that they've done a faux pas, a bad move, by taking it without asking for permission. So I DM'd them and I was like, look guys, like, you didn't ask my permission. If you want to keep it up, here's my licensing fee. Thinking, oh god, I'm gonna really piss them off. And they were like, we're so sorry. Must have just, obviously they were like, we thought we had permission, but they didn't have my permission, and I was a bit worried because I thought, I really want to work with them again. I don't want to piss them off. Like, am I asking too much if I DM them and ask them to remove it because they didn't ask for my permission? But I was like, no, this is my business. Like, I've said no to other people reposting my reels, because lots of brands, especially if it's an unboxing, if I do a reel or a TikTok opening their product or showing the product, they will be like, we love this, we want to repost it. And they've just given me a gifted item, and that is not payment. Like, people think it's not payment. It's not what I need, is money in my pockets. Thank you. I don't need extra things. Thank you. I'm very lucky and I'm very grateful for extra things. But If you want content made by me and made by anyone else, you should pay for it. If you're a brand that is going to be profiting off that, brands pay for people to make the content. You don't just get shit for free. Like, no, it's not okay. If I need extra content, I'll do an unboxing, but you're not allowed to repost it. Like, that's already more than enough, because that's free advertising. To be honest, I shouldn't have done the unboxings videos anyway, because it is free advertising. I just liked getting things, but yeah, I've stopped doing those now because it was getting frustrating, because every single brand would be like, oh my god, can we repost this? And I would say, yeah, sure, like, here's the licensing fee to repost my work. And they were like, oh, we don't have a budget for it. So I just got sick and tired of doing the unboxing, so stopped doing them. But what I will say is that don't be afraid to DM a brand if they've reposted your work without permission. Just send them a licensing fee. And I mean, I probably should have charged more than I did. I think I charged £100, but because they were a really small business, and that's why I kind of didn't want to disrupt you do feel like a bit like, I get this anyway, that I'm like, oh, I don't want to upset anyone, I don't want to like be difficult, but they were like, we're really sorry, Natalie, we really thought we had permission. Must have been someone forgetting to ask you or something, which I don't know how much I believe, but fair enough. And they paid the invoice, and they were like, we're really sorry and we'd love to repost it. And at first I was a bit like, god, they're not going to pay for it. And they were like, we'll get back to you on the payment, just let me know. And I said, great, but I'd really like it removed immediately if it's not going to be paid for. So I think they were like, oh. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. I know I've definitely asked a couple of times. Like, I remember Googling myself, because I do, funny thing, if I need a photo of myself, I just Google. If they're like, can we have a headshot of you, I just type my name into Google and I save the image and I send it to them, because I cannot be asked to find it on my hard drive. I should, and my hard drive's so disorganized, but we're going to sort that out this year. Anyway, what was I saying? I just find that so funny that I Google myself. Yeah, this is what I just want to share, this piece of advice, that if you feel, one, if someone reposts your artwork and it's a brand and they didn't ask you for permission, you are well in your right to message them, DM them, email them and say, you didn't have my permission to repost this. I would like it removed immediately if this invoice isn't paid for the licensing fee. So they have a fee. You can send them a fee to have the licensing so they can repost it. And you would say, licensing fee for this much, Instagram use only or social media use only. And 30 days needs to be payment. And I guess what the nice thing about me is having one of the best parts about having a social media following. It's not what you think it would be, but it means that if someone really does wind you up, you have the potential to like publicly shame them, to be like, this brand did this, or this brand isn't paying me. And that is a threat I've definitely used. When someone hasn't paid me for 8 months, I said, you have this amount of time until I publicly expose you, which worked. So that has I've definitely used it. I definitely have used that threat, and I'm not afraid to use it. Because a brand is more, this is the annoying thing, these brands that don't want to pay people are more worried about the public perception of them rather than the perception of the freelancers that they work with. It's just beyond me. It's not okay. But yeah, that's another thing I would say. And then the other point in that is, if there's something that you know isn't right and that you know you should be paid for, like this, like I know that if I'm making content and a brand wants it, they should be paying for it. I know that some of my friends are actual their actual job is like content producer, where they get paid an actual salary to produce TikToks and reels for people, for brands. Like, they can't just get free shit from me just because it's out there. It's like not okay. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, that it's like, if there's something that's happened and you're worried about being a difficult person or ruffling some feathers from speaking up for yourself and standing up for yourself, I would say there is a balance between being polite as well as standing up for yourself. And also, I like my approach, which I think some people would say is soft. If no one is coming at me giving me like verbal abuse, which has never happened in my career, well, not with clients anyway, I would say that always believing the person to be, how do you say, like, I'm forgetting the phrase, when you believe there's like, when something isn't right, you feel like, hey, I probably should speak on this thing. I think for me, even when people are, I don't know if that's the right advice to give, but even people that have paid me late, where we've had these intense email chains where people have, I guess, not paid me, I've still been rehired by people where they have fucked up. And I think it's because of the way that I handle it. And, you know, I have seen some friends really kick off and really, to be honest, be quite unprofessional. And I think it's such a balance, because my work is so personal. But at the end of the day, when I'm dealing with clients, it's really important in any situation to be putting my best professional cap on. And in my personal life, if someone is disrespecting me, I will give them a piece of my mind. But most often, the way that I like to handle things in my job is to believe the good in everyone. And also, a lot of the time, especially when people pay late, like, it's not the person who hired me isn't the one paying me. It's usually someone down, like, it'll be someone else's fault, and it'll be someone else that doesn't understand that freelancers need to be paid. Or, you know, there's so many times when I've even been told, like, by other people that have been doing this longer than me, that they probably didn't have the money and someone else messed up with the budget, and so they had to wait. And I don't know, businesses are complicated, and I'll never really know the full depth. But what I will say is I've definitely seen some of my friends clearly deal with situations that arise when they have been, you know, is disrespected. If, like, the brand reposting my reel without asking my permission is disrespectful. It's a kick in the face, and it's not cool. But I'm always going to come to those conversations first and foremost polite, respectful, standing up for myself, but I'm always going to be polite and respectful. And I think that that's been the key to why I get rehired by a lot of the same companies I've worked with. And, you know, it happens in business. Like, things fall apart, things happen, someone else messes up, and you're the one that has to clean up the mess. Like, I've worked in many, many jobs with different team members, and I know what it's like to work in a team. And sometimes someone else messes up, and you're the one that has to deal with it. And these clients that I'm talking to and working with, that they're working in these teams, whereas like me, I'm working on my own. I know that if I mess up, I have no one else to blame but me, and I can't do that. Like, I can't, like, not show up one day or whatever. Well, I can, but you know what I mean. All I'm saying is that I'm trying to always have empathy, especially when things go wrong. And I think so many of my artist friends, we are so drawn to having an art business because we really don't like the confines of like what being in an office would mean. But the reality is that my years of experience of working in offices and different work environments, I think, has allowed me to learn how to be professional even when I'm, again, feel like obviously I'm in the right. I guess what I'm just trying to say is I've seen some emails that people I know have sent and been like, God, like, that is not okay. And like, it's okay to be angry and be pissed off and like write down in your notes like, blah, 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 like what you would say. But you just got to leave that at the door, because when you're talking to a client, again, like if the person isn't actually giving you physical abuse or like being a real C word, if it's, you know, a late invoice as well, I think it's just, it's even, I guess what I'm trying to say is, even in difficult situations, even in situations when clearly someone else is taking you for a ride, it's still important to stand your ground, stand up for yourself, but always be as polite and professional as possible. And I think that especially if things happen if there's an argument in an email, I think it's really important to not reply when you're feeling hot-headed, especially to maybe just take a second or a night to sleep on things and come back to things. But yeah, I've seen some emails where some of my friends were in the wrong and they replied long, big block things, sent it to me and said, I sent this email today, what do you think? And I've been like, first off, you were in the wrong, unfortunately. And you can't speak like that to a client. Like, you can't. You have to be professional and respectful. And like I said, like, most often I like to believe that these people that are hiring me, most often than not, if they connect with my work on some level, I think we could be friends. Do I think it's unhealthy to want to be friends with all your clients? Yes. But what I'm trying to say is, like, we're already on the same side. We're already on the same team. I kind of just like, I like to approach it, every client, that if there's a mistake, if there is an error, or if there is a change in schedule, or if there is a change in anything, or a miscommunication, I like to always just approach it with with my best professionality, and just always being empathetic to the idea that, like, this person isn't trying to piss me off intentionally, even though sometimes it can feel like it. Like, I remember this client was like, if you're not going to do this, there was a specific image that they wanted as an illustration, and it wasn't in the brief. And I was like, well, it said illustration, it didn't say animation. And so I had to be like, well, that's going to be more money because it'll be more work. And they were like, but I don't understand. And I was like, but it'll be more work. For more money, it'll be more work. And they were like, I don't understand. And that went on for so long. And I was like, you're trying to annoy me. But yeah, I think it's just really, that is just some learnings that I came across today and I wanted to share with you. Make sure to stand up for yourself, but be respectful, polite, and have your best professional head. And if you need a minute to cool down, I would definitely suggest, like, always, if you're having a difficult situation with a client, get feedback on what you say before you hit send. The amount of times someone said, like, what do you think of this email? And I've been like, don't send it. And they were like, oops, I sent it. Oh, it hurts my heart. So yes, and yeah, if you ever want me to look it over an email, feel free to, like, message me. You're more than welcome to. I've done it many times, and I'm always here to help. So yes, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's getting late, but I hope you're all well, and I'm sending you lots of love. Don't forget to add some questions. You can either pop them in the comments or DM me them or message me on Patreon. And yeah, I'm going to message in the group as well. Okay, I'm going to go. Bye.